Hello, I'm Ben. Welcome to the channel. So today we're going to talk about blind spots that may be sabotaging your decision making. And if you look at the thumbnail for this video, this is kind of some of the suggestions it gave. This was something I found on LinkedIn. What's interesting about this is it shows how people think. And I've led teams and consulted with teams that basically I didn't know them before I came on to consult. And from initial conversations that I had with them, I would find out that they would run into some of these biases that are listed. And we'll talk about the other thing too, is opportunity cost. A lot of times people don't realize the opportunity cost of the decisions that they may make. For example, if you were to terminate an employee, if there were certain behaviors in an employee, if you didn't take the time to train them or try to correct those behaviors through a disciplinary type process, when that employee goes away, all the knowledge in their head of how to do the job and how to do certain things specifically well, that goes away for you and your company. And the next person you hire, even though they may be a very hard worker or be very intelligent, they're not going to have those skills that have been trained and done in this prior employee's knowledge and experience. That's why I often say experience is priceless. If you find somebody with experience in doing what you do, that's what you look for in an interview process. You're looking for people who have history doing work exactly like the work that you would have them do. And that's the importance of a resume. There's been some recent hubbub about, hire people based on attitude, yada, 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 and that experience doesn't matter. That is completely false. And you do want to hire based on attitude. So number one, you look for experience. Number two, you look for attitude. And that's how you hire people and determine to promote and continue people in their career process. This, however, is about decision making. So around decision making, the first thing you want to do is stop making bad decisions, whatever that looks like. You stop making bad decisions. It's better that you sit still than you make bad decisions. Second is that you make a decision. So once you remove the bad decisions from the situation, situationally, you're going to have to make decisions now on future changes, etc. If the company or the business is running normal, right? You have payroll process in place, you have all the positions filled, you're serving your customers, you have a QC process in place, you have a follow-up process in place, you have AR and AP in place, and some type of overwatch where you have to hold to some type of compliance and expectations. If you have that all in place, then what you do is you go through and you look for safety, you look for quality, and look for production statistics. You should have metrics that support all those three things. But in all this, the next point that's going to cause you the biggest grief is decision making and how you do that. So number one on this is confirmation bias. It says here you actively seek out information that confirms your pre-existing beliefs, conveniently ignoring contradictory evidence. I have seen that happen many, many times. And it's just like taking any part of an argument. If you take a part of an argument, there's going to be statistics that support your side of the argument. To make a proper decision, you have to look at the success rate of the decision and the failure. So in selecting a vendor, for example, there may be 999 reasons why you should select this vendor, but there may be one that is specifically relevant to your business that suggests you shouldn't. And so that's what you have to look at, because once you put something in place, it's very difficult then to duplicate vendors, etc., because of contracts and agreements and things of that nature. So confirmation bias is when you try to look for reasons to confirm your decision and you don't look necessarily for the arguments or the statistics that say it is not right. Two is sunk cost fallacy. When making decisions, you don't let past investments in time, money, or energy control your future actions. Sunk cost fallacy. So I've heard this called different things. What I would say is the experience and the energy that you're allowing things to have over you, that depends on what you were taught in previous decision making. So sunk cost, you got to look at that from, it's not only money, it's in time, it's energy, and it's control, right? That these things are going to give you or these things are going to take away. So there is a fallacy there when you're making a decision. If you don't include those things, that's what this is saying. If you don't include those considerations around the investment of time, your money, and energy, when you're making a decision on something, you're looking at just the top. So that's why this is called a sunk cost fallacy. The third is anchoring bias. You latch onto the first piece of information you receive and struggle to adjust as new data emerges. That's also called recency bias when you're talking about performance management. At the end of the day, biases are going to be there, okay? All you can do when it comes to a decision and a decision-making process is try to do the thing that's the best fit for you, your subordinates, your peers, your company, your shareholders, your customer, etc. And ultimately, if you use those things as your guiding lights, you should be able to make a decent decision there. Don't hang on to things, okay? Even somebody that has poor performance has periods of great performance. Look at the indicators. Find the root cause and see what's creating the situation that you're observing. But you don't want to be specifically recent on things. You want to look at the whole lifetime of it, okay? Fundamental attribution error. Fundamental attribution error. You blame people's failures on their personal flaws rather than external circumstances. If you're not taking into consideration what's going on right now in their life, what kind of training they had, who their boss is, what's the situational relevance. Situational awareness is a big deal. So use COVID, for example. In the medical industry, when COVID was around, that put huge stress on people day one before they ever walked in the door. And then protocol had to come out on how to handle patients or how to handle customers or how to handle workplace situations like employees and teammates in that COVID environment. It put on these things. So if you were looking at this at time and you did not consider the COVID situation, that would have been a fundamental attribution error. There's things that attribute to everything. You want to make sure you're having that in your decision-making process. You have a true snapshot of the full picture. Okay. Next is survivorship bias. You only study success while conveniently ignoring all the failures along the way. That's what I mentioned earlier. And so when you talk about statistics, I posted something recently about Elon Musk. If use Elon Musk, for example, people that don't like him only mention the failures that he's done. But people that like him, they only talk about the success. The idea, go back to that one before, the attribution error. You want to have a snapshot of the full thing. And the last piece is overconfidence. You overestimate your own abilities, knowledge, and chances of being right. Here's the thing. If you have no one else to lean on, you have to lean on yourself. So entrepreneurs run into these issues many, many times because they don't reach out. You can reach out to business analysts or consultants like myself or someone like that to help you. And it's not overconfidence. Then you're getting support from prior experience. And that may be prior experience around a certain vendor or around hiring teammates a certain way or how you do that. So the overconfidence will get in your way if you're in that role. Making teammate type decisions and having a team that you can rely on to make those decisions, as long as you do it expeditiously and you don't take too much time in meetings and things that don't add benefit, that really is the best way to go, because you have people with different knowledge from different backgrounds that help you make those decisions, which will allow you to make the best decision. So there's a little bit on that. The blind spots are sabotaging your decision making, or decision making errors, basically, is what that is. And hopefully that's helpful. Hopefully that's useful to you and your team. If you like videos such as these, please subscribe, please like, and please share. I'm Ben. Be good.